Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another lovely week with me, myself, and I.
He.
And he.
And him.
Thanks for coming back for another episode of the Universal Lens, everybody. Hope everybody's enjoyed their last couple of weeks. Hopefully you have some nice weather wherever you are. You're trying to soak in some of those beautiful sun rays if you're getting them. If not, it'll be out soon. And
for our viewers in Japan, because we always have a weird country downloading us.
Oh, yeah, there's a few, actually.
Arigato.
Oh, I was like, where's it going? Arigato.
Arigato.
I can go down the list, but I probably can't communicate in most of the languages.
We had a few. Israel Shalom.
We had South Africa.
I think that's just thank you.
I can actually tell you right now, the countries were, bear with me 1 second. I know this is just absolutely, you're all holding your breath for what I'm about to say, but where are we? United Kingdom, Iran, Japan, South Africa, Taiwan, Germany, Canada, the United States. Obviously, the United States being the most popular.
Dankeschön. Guten Morgen. That's, I got German.
Cheerio.
Hey, blokes.
I don't know how to say it. I guess Iranian. I'm not sure. But,
Grazie.
Yeah. Hello.
It's Italian, but it's I. So.
Anyway,
we got
everybody.
Subject.
So everybody, thank you. Welcome back. And let's talk what we talk about. Henry looks like he wants to say
life. We
life.
Breathe energy into this show. Speaking of energy into the show, I'll share with everyone the story I shared with you. The gym story.
Yeah, that was very nice. Yeah.
So I was telling John before the show, again, for those that would appreciate the story, random Saturday, Sunday morning, early. You're not expecting a lot of people at the gym. And it's just my son and I, and we go to the dumbbell area. And, for a dumbbell area, you have a bunch of benches and stuff. And it just so happens there's not too many people at the gym, which is a rare occasion. But the bench that we need is right next to the one guy who's working out in this whole area. So there we are, right next to each other. And we're doing our thing, and he's doing his thing. But I'm watching him do his thing. And the guy is doing this. He's flying like this. And then I'm able to get a glimpse of the tattoo he has here. And I was like, is that what I think it is? And then he stops doing his set. And I said, excuse me, sir. I said, I'm sorry to bother you. He goes, sure. He goes, what's up? I said, I'm sorry, but can I ask you what that tattoo means? You got a tattoo right here? He goes, oh, yeah. He goes, have you ever done any personal development? I said, yes. I said, that's Bob Proctor's drawing. He goes, yes. His eyes lit up. He goes, yes. Subconscious, conscious. He goes, yes. You know. I said, yes, I do know.
It's nice.
And quickly, we started talking real quick. I told him we do the podcast. And, again, our podcast is on mental health and particular mindfulness and awareness. But, Bob Proctor plays a role. And we also are big fans of Joe Dispenza. He goes, Joe Dispenza. He goes, I love Joe Dispenza. So it was great. He goes, dude, it's great to talk to somebody about this. He goes, nobody knows anything.
Yeah.
Nobody knows anything about this. And he was like, really? I was like, trust me, I'm also relieved. I am getting a kick out of that, that thing. And then, so at that moment, I wasn't thinking about it, but I went home later on and I started to have these feelings of, the constellation feeling, the stars, where I had, had a few years ago where I met my current manager.
Oh, where the stars are aligning?
Yeah, where I met my current manager, today I work with him. I was going to go buy a house, doing something completely different. But I met him at an open house for a house. And we started just talking.
Yeah.
Fast forward, why would I go into that house, talk to that guy?
It's not for you to know.
You know what I mean?
It's not for you to know.
So, empty gym. Okay. This is
what are the chances you're gonna roll up to a guy not only in a gym, but in a gym where there's nobody else in there, and this is one person who actually has a tattoo of a symbol
That
of
only I
a
know.
that you. Oh, I didn't even know it, and I know Bob Proctor. I didn't even know what it was. Of a symbol of a guy of a method or a diagram of something that Bob Proctor speaks about, which could be a way of life for certain people, right? To know the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, and the body, and understand how they're all separate,
how the relationship
how
works.
how their relationship works, and that opens up doors for you, right? And to just run into a guy who has that, because on a daily basis, it's difficult to run into many people who can have these conversations, not because they lack the intelligence, but because they don't have the ability to speak on it, because it's not something that they're interested in, or it's not something that they want to get, or because they're just so, and the reason is because they're so identified and connected still to their thinking mind that they don't see the other layers, like what Bob Proctor would say, right? Conscious, subconscious mind. So yeah, no, it's got to be, it's always a nice feeling when you run into somebody that happens, that connection happens with that, right? And it's not just that common goal or that common thing you have with that person, but this is such a special way to live life and special way to look at life and to experience life. And I honestly feel it's the way we were meant to experience life, like from the creator, from day one. Like this is our purpose.
It makes sense.
Like our purpose is to experience life. Everything else after it is what we put in, like what we make, what happens in our lives. But like our main goal is to experience life. That's what we're here for, right? To love and to care for one another and to help one another as a community. Absolutely. But we're here to experience life, right? I mean, that's what I feel. People will walk around and say, well, what's my purpose in life? What am I supposed to do in my life? I know my purpose is guilty as charged, right? Up until not too long ago, I would look up into the sky and the stars, and I would say, what's my purpose? And I would constantly ask that question, what's my purpose? What's my purpose? And I was a dog chasing his tail. Like, why do I need to know that answer? I didn't realize that till probably semi-recently. Why do I need to know this answer, what my purpose is? That's my mind trying to say, this is what I must be doing. This is what I must be doing. This is why. This validates everything we're doing, right? Like when people say, what's my purpose? I think it becomes a validation. Like, okay, now I'm validated. I know what my purpose is so I can live life. Your purpose is to live life. Then on top of it, or besides it, or in addition to, whatever term you want to use, you can do this, that, the other thing, things that you value. Like I value helping people, right? I value trying to end suffering with the people. I value talking about mindfulness. I value mentoring people. That's things that I value, right? These are things that I care about. Then I do that as I see fit, as needed, as required, yada, yada, yada. But what's my actual purpose in life? That is a question. I mean, I know the answer now, but that is a question that will drive people batty. How many people do you hear go, I wish God would tell me what my purpose was. I wish the universe would tell me what's my purpose. Even Eckhart Tolle was guilty of doing this. He said, I walked into a church one day. I looked up and I said, I want acceleration to figure out what I have to do. It didn't happen right away. It happened 2 years later. But like, even he got to the point where he's like, what's my purpose? Like, because it's as a human, like we understand the way the mind works. It's going to want to validate what we're doing here. Why are we here? What's my place? Where's my place in this whole grand scheme of life? Like, where do I fit in? Like, okay, you're the carpenter, you're the contractor, you're the therapist, you're the doctor, you're the lawyer. Okay, what am I? Like, yeah, I have a job as a contractor. Okay, but like, what am I supposed to be doing here? Like, there's got to be something more to why I'm here than just to build houses, right? That's a job. Like what? Okay, that's your job. When people try to figure out what their purpose is, I think it could drive you batshit crazy because it's almost an unanswerable question. And you could answer like, okay, like what do I want to do with my life, or what do I want to do? Okay, that's fine. Like I want to help people. All right, that's what I want to do. Like how that happens. The universe, God is going to unfold it as needed for me, right? Okay.
So can I ask you a provocative question? So
just keep it clean.
So if your heart is beating, that's your purpose. Meaning,
is it a question or a statement?
Yeah, the question is, so would you consider that your purpose is just being here, just your heart is beating. You're alive.
Heart is beating doesn't mean yes, but are you experiencing life, or is your heart beating and you're unconscious and you're locked into your mind,
Well,
not truly experiencing life?
okay, yeah, different story. So that's the distinction. That's the distinction. All right, so yeah, so I picked up that the purpose is just being here, just living this
To experience life.
life experience.
The life experience is a great way to put it. Yeah. To have this life experience is our main purpose.
And so while there are two people, there are two individual people. One is aware, mindful and aware, and completely feeling and experiencing everything that's going on. The other one has the same thing. He's alive, heartbeat, asking for meaning.
Asking. That's a great question. Constantly asking
for meaning, looking around, I don't know, kind of lost. He's a policeman, and he goes,
and that's a job, and that's what you do. Maybe there's a value while you pick that job, and that's great, right? That's great. Like this, beautiful. I was a contractor because I like being outside. I didn't want to work behind the desk. Whatever the reasons were, things that I valued the way I wanted to live my life kind of led me to do that career. Okay.
So,
but that wasn't my
purpose.
That wasn't my purpose. Because then we started asking the question, oh, so was I supposed to just be a contractor? Is that my purpose of being here? No, my purpose was here to experience life mindfully and aware, to be present in life as it happens, to see life as it happens, to watch my mind and its emotions and its ebbs and flows as they happen in life, while at the same time living that practical life, following the things that we want to do. But you're like, the word, when we say it's our purpose, we try to get so deep with it that it becomes a rabbit hole. Like you end up going to, what's my purpose? I don't know. Should I be helping more people? God, tell me what's my purpose. God, show me the way. Universe, talk to me. What should I be doing? What's this grandiose thing that you have in store for me? Time out. You doing it. Are you paying attention? If you're paying attention, you're doing it now. You're living your life's purpose by experiencing life, by being present in this experience. And we get the opportunity, the one in a gazillion odds that we are actually here experiencing this is the purpose. Then what things that you value to do is a separate issue, and you could help people become a millionaire, buy 20. I mean, whatever you want to do with your life, then that's your value system. Hopefully it's a beneficial moral value system, and it's going to lead you to do great things, but that's not your purpose in life.
Yeah. My mind went somewhere else when you said purpose. My purpose was to be a father and have children, but that is a byproduct purpose, not
the main purpose. I mean, you can say byproduct purpose. Does that make it more confusing than that? I think it becomes very subjective to the person.
Or second.
Well, no, it could be like, no, you valued having children. That's why I love the word valued, because it's while this sounds like purpose has a very deep kind of a spiritual connection, something more like what's your plan for me? Like I wanted to have kids too, like you did, right? I valued being a father. I value having children. I value being part of a family. I value, so I wanted to be part of that because that's something that I grew up around, a family. So something that was instilled in me. So I wanted a family of my own. I wanted to have children that I could, bring up and teach them how to do things. I valued that. You could easily say my purpose was to be a father. Okay. And then, okay, you're done being a father. Your kids grew up and they're out of the house. Watch this. So now what's my purpose? Time out. So now so that purpose, the purpose will keep changing as life circumstances change if we're not paying attention to it. Like they'll keep changing. That's why I like to say, I value this. And that's how I live my life right now. I value that. That's how I live but my purpose is to be here and to experience life as it happens. If you're doing that, everything else becomes icing on top. It really does. Whether you're a millionaire or not a millionaire, whether you have a ton of money or no money, no matter what your life circumstances are at that point. But if you're here experiencing life, you're actually experiencing nature, being whatever, however you want to experience life. But are you present? Are you here? Are you aware as it's happening? Because if you say, my purpose is to be a father, like you just said, right? What happens when your kids get older? Yes, you're always a father to your kids. Understood. but they don't need you at a certain point, right? Now they flew out of the birds. It's like, yeah, I'm on my own. Maybe they call you once every few days. You're there for support. Okay, but your purpose, my purpose is not to be a grandfather.
Yes.
That's my purpose now. Now that's my purpose. Now that's what's needed of me now. That's my purpose. Okay. No, it's just, again, you value being a grandfather. So that's something you would love to do someday if your kids bless you with children. Oh, well, grandchildren. Okay, great. But you could get caught up in a hamster wheel with that question. What's my purpose? And I speak from experience. I did. My wife, who kind of understands a lot of this, and she's benefited from everything that I've kind of gone through in our conversations a ton. But she's the one who told me, why do you keep asking that question? What you're doing is your purpose. And she wasn't talking about like the way I'm saying it, but she was like, what you're doing now is your purpose. Like, this is it. That's why I kind of got into we were talking before the show, and it just kind of popped up, that word. And I was like, that's a great topic to talk about, because I know me, it was a sticking point for me. I kept getting caught on what's my purpose. And it got to a point, Henry, where it was like, it would fucking weigh on me. Like, I'd be sitting there going, what am I doing wrong?
I'm rudderless.
I wrote a book. I did I do the podcast with one of my best friends. I try to help people where I can. I don't know. Should I be doing more? And it became almost not an obsessive form of thinking, because it wasn't, but almost like, God, give me an answer. Show me where I need to be. And I was like, wow, hold on a second. I need to be here where I am, experiencing life as it's happened, and watch things unfold. And I use my values to navigate the ship as we go along. And that's it. And all of a sudden, life gets way more simpler, because I'm not looking for meaning on the outside. With, like you said, that purpose will constantly change, right?
Yeah.
It'll constantly change. There's no reason why it won't.
Well, like I said on that Facebook post, that's wisdom. That's wisdom.
Oh, on the last post I made.
That's right, but that's wisdom. It's wisdom that'll get you where you graduated. You graduated to a higher level of awareness.
Well, you start seeing the mind differently. Like, you notice things differently. You experience things differently, while being a human at the same time. Like we were talking before the show started, right? And I forgot what we were talking about something, but I forgot exactly what it was. But we made reference to, like, we're human beings and we still react, even if it's for a millisecond or half a second or a minute. There's times where we still react to something, because that's the human in us. We can't get rid of that, right? That's just part of who we are. We're going through that. Will happen to us, right?
Yeah, I was telling you, we're wired a certain way. The mainframe is wired a certain way.
So that's still that. I mean, that's still gonna happen, right? And like that, for me, that wiring is what kept me asking that question. Like, why am I here? Like, should I be doing more? Am I doing enough? And it became a topic of conversation in my mind that started to weigh on me, and I started to struggle with a little bit, like spiritually, internally, where I'm like, what does the universe want from me? Like, and then I'm like, well, did I already serve my purpose? Well, then if I serve my purpose, am I useless now? Like, I'm not needed anymore? And even that, like, listen to that statement. Like, I've had conversations with people like, I was put on this earth. Maybe you were put on this earth to be here to help that one person, and now that's it. You're not needed anymore. Like you, and there are, I think we do act as catalysts for people in our lives. Like, I'm a big believer that I'm like, one of the reasons I'm here is I actively become a catalyst for people. Like, I've noticed that. Like, I actively become a springboard for people, even if they need me just for 5 seconds, a springboard, but then things happen for them, like in the way they see life. And I'm not talking like success in life as far as business and stuff. I'm talking quality of life. Like, I become a springboard for them. Maybe that was, that's the not, and I guess, I don't want to see the word purpose, but that's what I'm here to do right now.
In this narrow realm of you helping other people and being the catalyst for some people, I believe we are there for each other. In other words, it's symbiotic.
Yes.
It's not that, you're special in some way or I'm special. No, it's symbiotic. It's like there are different stages of life, different just mosaic and different levels, and just, you know, there was a time where I was trying to help you, but
No, you were.
but I did.
You became a catalyst for me.
And you to me, you follow me. So, and then, so at any given point, I can and will be there for you. You can and will be there for me. But then we are there for
Whoever.
X circle over here, and then that guy over here, and then I'm at work, and then I got, and you can see how we are all, because as aware as I may be, or as I can do this show, I can practice mindfulness every day. I live a mindful life.
Absolutely.
You know, as you mentioned just seconds ago, we're still human, and we have our slip on a banana peel moment where
that's a great analogy.
you're human.
Sure.
And you slip into a quick little detour. You slip into a little funk, a little, and then somebody, maybe not even, but somebody can come along and say, hey, and that's all you need. But that person was a quick little catalyst for you. That may be, again, we always point to, right? We always point to,
this is a dog chasing his tail.
what is this all about, right? So that may be what it's about. And going back to a little bit of what,
yes, I agree there.
a little bit of Camarada. Shout out to Mike Camarada.
I'm gonna get together with him soon.
So,
We have
you
a lot
know,
to talk about, Mike.
I always go back to like the macro picture, and he mentioned something that resonated with me, which is the fight of good versus evil. So the example that I just gave you would be an example of good manifesting itself in the universe.
Oh, absolutely.
So at the same time, there are probably some evil acts going on. So
Unfortunately,
right? So
yes.
while that little example of goodness, I can give you some examples of badness. So I wonder if the eternal struggle, or the ultimate struggle, is that we have more of those acts of goodness, which again is subjective, because that could be good for me, but maybe not good for somebody else. So the good is also subjective. But Michael, if you're watching, help me out here. Is that like the scorecard where, you know, there should be more good like that happening?
You would, that would be, who wouldn't want that? Right?
Because
there'll be a beautiful world to live in where there's way more good than evil happening.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So it's almost like, you know, there's a, what, you know, when you have that, you've seen cartoons of it, the big boulder sitting on a mountain, and nope, you can't push it. You can't. So I think Wile E. Coyote comes and grabs a big long stick
and tries to,
and the stick breaks and all that, right? But all you need is that one blast, and the ball starts going. And the ball rolling down would symbolize good winning, good taking over the human experience. Whereas, you know, there's more goodness, and it just
it amplifies,
overtakes the evil. I went on a side bend, but it had to do with purpose. So I don't know, the higher struggle, you know, the ultimate struggle, I don't
think that's for us to know here. I honestly, I'm not even going to say, I don't think. I'm telling you, that's not for us to know here.
Who told you that?
Huh?
Who told you that?
So there's nobody told me that, but there's certain things that don't come in the form of thought. They come in the form of a knowing.
Oh,
hold on.
He knows everything now.
So no, no, that sounds a little paradoxical, that statement. So there are, like, when you have a thought that comes to you, it's a thought like, I should do this, I should do that. Then there's things that you cannot explain, but you know. It's not verbalized. It's like what happened to Michael when Michael Camarada, when our buddy Mike said he had that experience. He said, I heard it in a language I can't tell you how I was being told these things, right? But I understood them. And it's the same kind of thing, right? So people say, "Oh, does God speak English?" No, right? We speak English, so we hear things
from Nazareth, not Nazareth, Pennsylvania,
or Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. But there's something what I like to call what's known as, you know, right? And just there's a knowing, and that knowing is something deeper something that it's not in the form of a thought that's saying I should or I must, but it's just something that you know, right? And that's something that I do know. That's something that what our experience is supposed to be. It's not a matter of,
it's a feeling like no other.
It's a feeling that I understand, but I can't tell you how I understand. I can't tell you who told me. Nobody said it to me. Nobody told me this. Nobody said these words to me. I just know it. I just know it. For me, and when I say I know it, like like I know it to be true. And I can't explain how I know it to be true. And that's where, whatever word you want to use, faith comes in, or whatever, whatever word works for you, because they're all words that we've created. But that's where that language would come into play. But it's just something that kind of resonates on a level that you don't need it to be put into thought form. It's already there. It's a very odd thing to explain. And I know it's kind of like, well, how do you have a thought? How do you know something if you don't have a thought? It doesn't have to be a thought, right? It doesn't have to be a word or a picture in your head, because a lot of times that's your mind kind of putting a story together to try to make sense of something. I don't try to make sense of it. Just, I know. And that's where that's how I like to anchor myself in life, is there's this knowing in me that says that. And I just go from there.
I tell you sound a lot like my wife. I just know, okay?
And don't ask me why, but I know, God damn it.
I swear, I wasn't thinking that. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I just know.
With purpose in life, like, that's where the thought, so like I said, is, knowing in the thought, but that's where the thought comes into play. And that's where the thinking mind will keep you trapped and will keep you chasing your tail day in and day out, because that's what it's built to do. But disconnecting from that is a beautiful thing. Being able to see it working, and not ask yourself this question constantly, like, why am I here? What am I supposed to be doing in my life? Where should I be? Should I be doing more? Should I have done more? Should I have accomplished more? A lot of those things are just, the data that we get input on a daily basis, and how we want to compare to other people. Like, my mind wants to compare. Why am I not reaching as many people as that podcast? Or why am I not getting as many people who want to talk to me as that life coach? And why am I not? And that'll drag you down, and it will, if nothing else, it will ruin your life experience, because it will throw a veil over being here and experiencing things as are happening to you, because your mind is saying, my purpose should be more than what it is now. Like, there should be something greater for me to do. Like, where am I sheep to go shave, to go save?
But go shave.
You go shave. Make a little wool.
They make great coats.
They make coats. They won't come to me if that's what I want to do to them. But that question could easily dampen your experience of life and being present, because you're constantly going to be looking for something else, for validation, like I said earlier in the show, of how do I validate where I'm supposed to be in life.
And the inverse is true too. So the inverse is what Eckhart Tolle used to say, I am so present. I am so aware. I live in bliss. Just wait.
Yeah.
Just wait.
Just wait. Yeah.
So it's like, of course, because both of them are like these false stories. Not false stories, but the purpose is for you to just be aware. So it doesn't mean you're going to be blissful for 100% of the time because you found awareness.
That's not sustainable.
It's also, you don't have to be searching, high and low every day for your purpose. Very simple.
And we say purpose, we're not saying to do things in life that you want to do. Like that question, what is my purpose in life? It's not what are things that I value, like we said earlier, right? What do I want to do? How can I implement my skills, or things that I care about doing, or something that I'm interested in? How do I, no, that's living a valued life, making decisions based on something that you care about, right? That's different. And those are things that I implore people to do, follow that value system because it won't lead you astray. You're always going to be doing something you care about. I'm not saying it's going to make you super successful as far as being a millionaire, or because that's what the barometer of life has become, is how much do you have? What are you worth? How successful are you in life? That's the barometer, which is a shitty fucking barometer to have because it takes away the joy of life. No, it's what's my experience of life right now? Like, that's what our purpose is. Are you losing that? Have you lost that because you keep thinking something should be better than it actually is? Right? I said, I've heard it, there's memes and social media, even other podcasts, people use this word, or life coaches or motivational speakers, find your purpose. What's your purpose? And like, my purpose was your purpose is to be here, to experience life. Punto finito.
Don't give it a,
I must be, no, in that experiencing of life, I follow my value system, and that value system allows me, affords me opportunity to do things that I care about. What better life can you have than that? Again, park the fucking money for a second, because that's where it always comes back to in our society.
Yeah, well,
but are you successful? So if I've lived a valued life, doing something I care about, living my purpose of being present here every day, aware of what's happening in my life, and not just thinking always ahead and forwards and backwards, have I not lived like a success? Is that not a successful life? Or if you want to use the word successful, Webster Dictionary, successful, like you've succeeded, that's the epitome of success. That's it. Boom.
You're right.
Then you make $1 million, you make $10 million or not. Cherry on top and extra Sundays. Beautiful. But that's not like if that's what you're here only to do, you're not experiencing life. You're a slave to somebody and you don't even know it yet.
Yeah. And I'm going to use the word superficial, but I don't mean it the way that it's known to. I mean it like the top layer, the superficial layer, because we tend to live superficially. So the people we come in contact with, usually strangers, we only touch the superficial layer. We never
strangers, it's usually, unless they're aware people, you're going to get that superficial layer first.
Unless you're aware. So we never get past this. So that's why I always tell you that when you engage in conversation with somebody, you can tell how deep they're willing to go in certain
fairly quickly, by the first comment that comes out of their mouth.
90% of people are going to be right up here, not let you in.
They might not even know how to get into that part of themselves.
So because we live in the superficial world, everything, the money aspect is one of the superficial elements up here, because I can easily determine, big mansion, a lot of money. He did well. He must have hit his purpose. He must have,
lived his purpose.
He must have matched
4,000 bagel stores. That was my purpose in life.
He must have matched his purpose with. So that is the barometer. Nobody's using the barometer of, like you said, well, are you fulfilled? Are you happy? Or did you enjoy? Was this suffering? You don't know anything, but we equate superficially that big, huge mansion on the beach, for sure. That guy, fulfilled his purpose. And there's a few, as you know, as I'm sure I've mentioned here, I love bodybuilding, and I follow a lot of different bodybuilders all over the world, because now I'm watching bodybuilders from all over the world. They have very good mindsets, and there's one
very positive.
Yeah, because it's a grind. So if you don't have the mindset, you're gonna burn out really quick.
Burn out or fall off. Yeah.
So this guy opens up his shutters. He lives in a small little flat, but he opens up his shutters and he's showing the panoramic view of the ocean. He lives close to the ocean. He goes, and the sun is coming up. He goes, guys, look at this view. He goes, this is majestic. He goes, this is incredible. He goes, I can't tell you how happy I am, fortunate to open up these shutters every day and look at this view.
He's grateful. Yeah. Gratitude.
Off to the right, there's Mansion Row, which is like big house after big house. He's not living in one of those houses, but he feels completely like at peace, completely like he's living his best life. He's doing great for him. He's not suffering over how do I get that,
Yes,
because that ruins your experience here.
Sure, it does.
And the purpose you were here, because you're measuring it superficially.
I love that.
You're not measuring it in another way.
No, you're measuring it just by what's on the surface.
Yeah, it's
what again, you're measuring it by what society has said is the barometer for whether you've lived a successful life or not. I mean, that's what society said. Society doesn't teach you to be present every day, be aware of your mind, be aware and mindful of the situations you're in, to be here, be now, experience life through your eyes, not through your thoughts, to actually feel and be in contact with everything that's happening, right? And then from there, live by your values. No, we're taught instead to be successful in life, get a college education, which is great. Absolutely. Go get a job, work hard, make money, have a family, make more money. Well, there's nice things that are intertwined in that story. Don't get me wrong. But look what the engine of that story is. Be successful in life means you've created a successful business, you've made money, you've done this, blah, 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 blah. I will have most people I know, even in my family, will tell me I'm fucking crazy for saying it, but that's not the main driver. That's not. Was it my driver at a certain point? Yes. Sure. And you know where that driver got me? And it got me a fucking broken brain.
Burnout.
Yeah. That's where it got me. And that's where I think I was pushed there for the specific reason of this isn't how I want you to be living life. Like you're doing this wrong. Yeah, you have money and that's great, or you've succeeded with your business. That's great. But this isn't how I want you to live life. And there was a pulling of, I think, two forces in my life. One, for a long time, was making me this machine to go, because my purpose was to be successful. My purpose was to be successful. Hell or high water. Listen to that word, hell or high water. That there was a drive there. I wasn't a bad person. Don't get me wrong. I tried to always be a moral person, but there was a very strong drive there, which could be a bull in a china shop at any moment, until it broke me. And that I was meant to be broken so I could be like, okay, this isn't how I meant for you to live life. Like there are other things in store for you that I would like you to see. And that's how I think I believe, and I know that's why things happen to me for a certain reason, is so I could see things differently and I could kind of express them. Right. And even in the today's show, where we're talking about things like, is your purpose in life to be successful? Is your purpose in life to live the life experience? Because when you're gone, we've said this 1,000 times, right? Nobody's pulling a U-Haul behind your Hertz. I don't give a fuck what you could have 24 houses, 14 cars, $100 million. That's great. It's going to afford you luxuries in life. When you're done and it's all said and done, how was your life experience? Your life experience, not the shit you had in life. That's a small part of the experience. You get to experience them, but if you're not mindful, you don't even enjoy them properly, because you're still, what's next? I got one car. Yeah. Another car. Yeah. Another car. Yeah. Got one wife, divorced, another wife, divorced. What's your driving motivation, right? What's your driving motivation there? So, I mean, for me, I know that if I'm living life every day and I'm experiencing life every day, sitting here with Henry today, doing our show, I would like to say we're living our best life. Like, this is experiencing life. Done. Whether I go home to a 5,000 square foot mansion, which I don't have, or Henry drives home in a Ferrari after leaving the show, doesn't make a difference. It doesn't. They're nice, but it doesn't make. That's not what's going to make in 100 years when it's his time to go to wherever we go. He's going to look back on his deathbed and say, I lived life purely. I experienced my family, my kids, my coworkers. I experienced the sun in the morning, the birds singing, not through a story in my head, but actually experiencing them and understanding that there's something that connects all this. And it's beautiful. Then from there, he takes his value system, Henry, and he goes to work every day as a real estate agent, tries to make money for his family. Separate, but that's what he does, because that's something he likes. He enjoys the interactions, right? I'm not trying to speak for you, but
yeah. No, it's fair. And I would add, a little bit more, let's say, add how do I say it becomes more real. What is the average lifespan supposed to be?
In the United States, I think it's like 71. I mean, it depends on the country, 70 to 80.
What, 75?
Yeah, Japanese are like 83.
I'm sure if there was a mindful 80-year-old watching this right now, she would probably say, these guys understand it. And the reason I point to that age is because that's the age where you wake up every day going, all right, I'm still here. I made it. One more day here. Because you know that you had this fake expiration date, this artificial unknown expiration date that you don't know when that is. So when you're that late in the game and you know that I'm actually past the usual expiration date,
the milk has gone sour.
Yeah, I live more mindfully. That's the deathbed thing.
That's the deathbed. It happens naturally.
So
not for everybody, but it does happen naturally.
So if there's that older person looking at this going, they understand. That's it. And the reason I point to that person is that person has a level of awareness that even though we are aware, we're not that aware. That person is knocking on the door of the other side. And what I mean by that statement is provocatively, is that person can identify the level of awareness. Whereas a normal, everyday person would just be like, oh, it's good for you. The older person who understands that every day is a gift is looking at us going, they get it.
They get it.
That's it.
That's it. That's the secret sauce.
That's it. That's the purpose. But he can rewind and look back and say, yeah, I can tell you that now that I'm here. That's it.
And I wish, you hate to live in regret, but be like, or say, kudos to you guys or whoever it is.
That's it.
For actually understanding that at a younger age. And now you get to experience life, hopefully for another 30, 40 years this way.
Or 75.
Or whatever. Yeah, whatever. Whatever it is. But the morbidly beautiful part of it is when you look at life like this and when you experience life like this,
you're prepared for anything.
That doesn't scare you.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to be there when I'm like people go, I'm not scared of dying. I don't want to be there when it happens. I mean, nobody wants to suffer when they die. I'm not talking about all that. I mean, like, what's happened with Jesus with the crucifixion. That was, a horrendous way to die, right? Thankfully, most people don't go through those kinds of deaths. But we don't want that kind of, and unfortunately with diseases and sicknesses, there are people who go through some shit at the end. But it's like death isn't scary because you connected with something in you that can't die, that won't die. That's the thing that goes, I know, but won't tell you when, like you can't. I know. Like when we started the show and we started talking about purpose, I swear to God, like we've never scripted a show ever. Like in the beginning, maybe we would have a little powwow
outline.
This is what we're going to talk about. Maybe I'm talking the first few episodes, but like, we never script a show. Like we don't have a meeting. We don't talk about anything. And maybe it shows. I don't know. As we're getting like all over the place sometimes. When we started the show, the word purpose came to my mind. Everything I said when I started the show, I had no idea where it came from. Like it wasn't a thought. It wasn't like I have this great idea. I'm going to tell people that the purpose of life is to live life. Oh, that's it. That's what and then I'm going to tell. No, it flowed out. Where did that come from? And this is, this isn't me. Spiritual teachers have said this for eons. Where does that come from? There's something greater than us that flows through us, right? People say it's the universe. It's a one consciousness. For me, it's God, whatever it might be. Okay. So when we say, why are you fucking here? It's not to make money. It's not to become the president of a company or a CEO. All beautiful things, and I implore everybody to do them. But are you doing it while you're paying attention to life as it happens? Are you actually here putting your hand on this table and just feeling the table and not going, well, this is a beautiful piece of walnut or whatever wood this is. I'm a contractor. I would know. There's a beautiful piece of, look at the grooves on it. I mean, isn't it solid? No, because then I'm creating a story and I can put your hand on the table and just feel your fingertips actually vibrating on, like you could feel the energy between your hand and the table. Have you ever done that? Like that's experiencing life for me. Like,
now you're getting out of the superficial. Now
Yes, now we've gone way below.
that's it.
But and that's how you. I think I said before. I know that's how we're meant to live life. Doesn't mean, and Eckhart Tolle said this, right? Doesn't mean we sit all in a room and we don't move because we have a functioning society. Somebody needs to pump the gas. Somebody needs to work the toll booth. Somebody needs to work
Right.
the diner counter. Somebody needs to build the house, paint the house,
Right.
sell the house.
Somebody worked the chicken place.
Exactly.
Somebody's fixing
And-
cars.
And those are all things that whether you value doing it or it's a stepping stone and on a path of something you value, that's beautiful. But you could do even all those things still experiencing life every day. And then when you do, how do you lose? How do you lose? I mean, somebody tell me how you lose if that's how you live life.
No, yeah.
You die. You still didn't lose. How do you lose? There is no losing anymore.
I got to tell you, have you ever been on a Disney cruise?
Disney cruise? No, I've been to Disney a lot more times than I like to admit.
All right. So
I'm a little Mickey'd out still after 20 years.
This is an opportunity for me to tell you about a restaurant on the Disney cruise ship. It's called Animator's Palette.
Okay.
Okay. So you walk into the restaurant and the entire theme of the restaurant is that it's black and white. Yeah.
Like,
so let me explain. So like the floor might be a black and white carpet, very nicely done, like, very nicely done. And it's a big room and you look at the walls.
Like a blank palette almost.
Clearly it's all black and white. So you'll have Goofy, Mickey, and it's all, the three little ducks, Donald's nephews, and Chip and Dale, and
Huey, Dewey, and Louie.
And so like literally all throughout the walls, it's just a whole bunch of different characters doing different. Snow White doing this,
but all black and white.
All black and white.
Okay.
As you're eating dinner, slowly the walls start to color. Slowly.
That's fucking awesome.
It's incredible. Incredible. This is why Disney lost a step, because they used to do crazy shit like this. So, and like little by little, you'll see Snow White's red skirt start to get red from the bottom. It starts with her black shoes, and like it starts coming up. By the time you're done with dinner, the entire room is colorful. It's just gorgeous, and even with lights, and it's just gorgeous. The seven dwarfs look amazing. Everything looks, and you look around and you go,
it comes to life. As you're eating, it comes to life.
That is what life is like with awareness.
I love that. Oh, wow. I love that. I love that I love that idea. I would love to experience that because that sounds cool, but I love that analogy. That's a great one.
You should cut that and reel that. That is what life is like.
I think he just told me I better do it.
That is it. That is amazing. And I think that's what you meant by purpose, because if you understand that is the purpose,
everything becomes
you're
that.
And not you're in the restaurant, is it all lit up? No, there are times where that wall's still black and white, because remember, it's slow, it's gradual. By the time you're done, but you don't even notice. It snuck up on you.
It happens slowly.
Oh my God.
It happens slowly. Yeah. That's great.
Yeah, it's a beautiful experience, a beautiful restaurant.
I'm gonna actually Google that later, see if they have a video of it.
Yeah, I would just Animator's Palette.
I would love to see. I would love to see how that happens. But that's a great analogy and a great way to tie in the show, and to kind of, as we get to the end of the show, to kind of tie it all in. Is that how you want to experience life, or do you want the black and white version? Because the black and white version is superficial. Or do you want the real version? And people think, but if I have everything, it's colorful and beautiful.
Yeah.
But you're still not experiencing it. I can't tell people enough. Do you really understand what it means to experience anything in life? To really experiencing outside of the thinking mind? Like, you feel it, you don't have to think it. Like, you connect with, like, have you ever gone out into nature and connected with nature? Like, not sat there and said, oh, what a beautiful tree. Look at the pretty birds. Oh, the nice grass. You're creating a story. Actually grounded yourself, sit in the grass, sit under a tree, walk in nature, and not follow any thought, and just be present with it. And all of a sudden, like, you honestly, you do, because I said, what's in us is in nature. Like, we all jive with each other. How? Maybe someday we'll find out. I don't know.
Or make eye contact with a squirrel.
And the squirrel kind of, and they'll stare at you for a second. And like there's a connectedness that happens there. Have you ever tried that? That's the experiencing of life, not the, stories and the accolades.
Yeah. And by the way,
and those are all great. Yeah.
Right.
We're not knocking any
All
of that.
good.
We think everybody, it's important to do all those things and to experience life that way also, and to have those, those goals, and that's all beautiful. But like, don't lose sight of what your real purpose is to experience this life as it's happening. And like you said, you're going to have a lot of superficial people, but I experienced life. I went to the beach yesterday. I was there with my kids. I go to church on Sunday. I do. Okay.
Excellent.
You've experienced things. Have you truly experienced them in life? Like, have you really understood what the purpose of living life actually means, is to experience life outside of just thought, outside of what you think or what you perceive or how we perceive life should be and things we should do and how we should live our lives and where we should end up. That's not living life. That's following things that you want to do, and that's beautiful to do them. Important that you do them, but don't lose sight of, are you experiencing life along the way?
Yeah, because while you do those things, it's just amplified. And
also our clock ticks. We're only meant to. That's why I say it's the fact that something doesn't last forever is what makes it beautiful, right? We don't last forever. That's the beauty of it.
You're right.
Right?
You can't take it for granted.
You can't take it for,
you should.
The intention was
right.
Don't take it for granted.
Right.
Experience it. We've become a society where we take it for granted and check, phone, scroll, social media. Yeah. What am I doing now? Where am I going now? What do I have to take care of now? I got to plan this. I got to plan that. And we all do that stuff because as human beings in a functioning society, I think it's important on a certain level that we do a lot of those things. But like, are you actually, as time is flying by, like I'm 50. I was 10 2 days ago. I was in high school. I was in college. I was getting married. I had my first kid yesterday. My kids went to college an hour ago. My other kid's going to college. Like,
yep.
I wasn't there for 40 years. I can tell you that.
That's right.
The first 15, I barely fucking remember anything at all.
Yeah, right.
Because I wasn't experiencing them. I wasn't.
So right.
Some people have a better memory than others with memories, but like I could tell you, but the last 7 years, I've experienced a lot of life. Like I have, in hindsight, the clock has moved just as fast, but in that moment, it feels like it was slow as shit. I don't know if that makes any sense. You get me in Germany? All right.
We got to put the German subtitles down. Japanese subtitles.
South African's English.
Yeah, they speak
Korean, Vietnamese.
Yeah. Hebrew, Israeli,
yes. All right. So, that's all I have to say.
No, that's it. Leave these poor people to their days, the rest of their day.
The rest of that. All right. So we hope you guys got something out of that.
Yeah.
Hopefully it gives you a little something to think about when you go back into your day.
Yeah.
If you actually sat here for the whole hour and listened.
Yeah, we truly enjoy doing this. And
if you can't tell.
Subscribe, share, like it, feedback, comments, whatever you got, let us know. We're more than willing to engage.
He'll keep saying that. We'll keep saying it, but he says it at the end of every show, and he'll keep saying that, and then one day, the right person's going to hear it. Yeah. And then you're all going to want to stand? No, too late. Sorry.
We're going to reject you.
Yeah, kid. All jokes. All right. Everybody have a great week.
That's it.
We'll catch you guys next time. This is Universal Lens. Good night, America. Peace and love, people. Take care. The insights and discussions that we speak about on our show are our own opinions and based on our life experiences. If you or someone in your family or someone you know is suffering and in need of help, please get them that help through medical attention or seeking proper therapy. Again, what we speak about are based on our experiences and not intended to be taken as a form of therapy. Thank you.